Welcome back, everybody. Dribble and Drive. We're back today. Going to talk a lot of hoops. So much NBA to talk about. We're getting into the prime of the NBA season. Super Bowl's over, so it's time.
Post All-Star break, we're coming down the stretch, starting playoff seedings kind of coming together, so it should be a fun month or so.
Yeah, dude, kind of figuring out who everybody is, who's legit, who's not.
These trade deadline acquisitions, how they fit.
Exactly. Even, I don't know, maybe a little bit early to talk about some All-NBA teams, but we could throw some names in there.
Yeah, maybe some awards.
Yeah.
So.
Who do you think's the MVP right now? Let's start it off right there. I mean, right now I think the options are Shea, Jokic, and then maybe somebody on the Cavs, maybe Jason Tatum. Other than that, I don't really think you can argue anybody else.
Yeah.
I think it's Shea, Jokic, maybe Tatum.
Giannis.
At 32 and 24, fifth in the East. He's having a hell of a season as always. I mean, the stat lines he puts up are ridiculous.
Of course. Sorry, I'm just pulling my notes here.
Yeah, Giannis right now, he's averaging 31 points per game. For the third season in a row, he's over 30. 12 rebounds, fourth season in a row, he's averaging 12 rebounds. Fourth season, dude, he's been averaging six assists for like 6 years. So this guy's averaging 31, 12, and 6. He does it every year with Defensive Player of the Year level defense.
Yeah, and I think the MVP, even though like his team's not winning as much as they used to in the past, has to be Jokic. I get Shea's, he's nice and he's a good scorer, and people complain he shoots a lot of free throws, but to be honest, I don't think he shoots a ton.
It's part of the game, dude.
Yeah, and it's part of his game. That's what makes him so good. But Jokic, he's averaging career high in points, second highest rebounds, career high in assists, career high in three-pointers made a game, career high three-point percentage, career high steals. He has the highest point efficiency rating in the NBA ever, so far throughout a season. Even though his team's not winning, he doesn't have much help. And I feel Murray, he seems to always step up around the playoffs, and this is a team I'm not super concerned about, but the other day I was a little bit shaken off my beliefs because the Lakers absolutely took it to them. Yeah. I got to look up what the score was exactly, but
hey, I think the Lakers are good. I think the Lakers are a team who are really in contention for the championship.
Yeah, they beat them by 23 in Denver, and this is a team in Denver that's absolutely owned the Lakers since Anthony Davis, LeBron has been there. It's been 4-0, 4-1 sweeps in the playoffs every single year.
Just domination. Last year, wasn't it 4-1 last year? Even though the games were tight.
Yeah, every game's tight, but the Nuggets just somehow always had the Lakers' number, and it seems like this could be a sign of things to come. It seems like things are changing.
In the last 15 games, the Lakers are third in the league in net rating, only behind OKC and Cleveland, and Boston is 4, Denver is 5. So that's interesting in the last 15 games. Portland's at 6 in there, so obviously you can't just judge on the last 15 games. But that's crazy. They're the second team in the West, only behind OKC, who really is that number one team, and Denver's 5. Denver's kind of that number 2 team in the West right now. So Lakers are really making that jump up into potentially being it.
So, Murray gave you 20 points. He was minus 28 on the night. So I just, Murray concerns me. He always steps up around the playoffs, but it's just not what you want to see right now. But The Lakers, you got to look dude, they had 4 of their 5 starters had 20 points, with Rui Hachimura at 21, LeBron at 25. This was the first game Luka still looked like Luka. He gave us 32, 10 and 7. And then AR dropped 23. They got their guys, and I think this is a team that if they can just play their game and draw the right matchup in the playoffs, that's what it comes down to.
100%. The only thing I do worry about is the center position and the defense. But I think they figured it out. Jackson Hayes, he's the perfect lob threat. He can grab some rebounds. They have Jared Vanderbilt to add some peskiness, some size in there. Dorian Finney-Smith brings the defense. But it's that big 4 offensively in the starting lineup. LeBron, Luka, and then Reeves and Rui. what shooters would you pick in the league to be your shooting role players besides Reeves and Rui? At least offensively, not many.
Reeves has been awesome.
These guys are amazing ball handlers, shooters, scorers. And Luka and LeBron are two of the best playmakers in the league. This offense is deadly with Hayes as that lob threat at the 5. But yeah, that and then you got Necht coming off the bench to add some shooting, even if he hasn't been the greatest. But
it's just so encouraging because all you heard was the Lakers. They have no center, they have no paint presence, and they're going against the best center in the NBA, and let's see, Jokic put up 12 points, 10 assists, 13 rebounds. So, I mean, he was dishing out the rock, but that's got to be an encouraging sign with how thin you thought they were, where they were able to hold the MVP to this.
Like 12 points?
Yeah, 20-point win. Like, I think maybe
they're legit.
Maybe they got their center. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I do worry about is that Hayes, he averages 4 rebounds. That's not a lot.
But he wasn't playing the minutes that he will be playing now. So I think it's a little bit.
It's up to 5 in the last 10, and he's playing 22 minutes per game. That probably only goes up from here. 18 all season, so maybe he's going to play nearly 30 minutes a game. You can add some shot blocking, add some rebounding, and then, I mean, you saw what Luka turned Derek Jones Jr. into last year, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. Like, LeBron and Luka, a rim-running lob threat at the 5 is all you need.
Yeah.
Jackson Hayes is perfect. He's going to throw those lobs down. Yeah, I mean, the offense, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Defensively, though, there is some worrisomeness. In the last 15, the defensive rating is ranked.
The Lakers?
The Lakers, yes.
Okay.
In the last 15, just going to find them. 1.
The best defensive team in the league.
That's kind of crazy.
Since when?
Last 15 games. That's a notable sample size.
Wow.
Right?
That is something I did not expect.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, I was looking through the list. I did not even think to look at 1. I looked at the bottom.
JJ Redick, defensive mastermind.
Dude, can we talk about him? He's phenomenal.
I mean, he is great.
I mean, we've talked about the talent offensively. And then you add JJ Redick as the coach. He's amazing. This dude puts in so much effort. You saw how he prepared for Jokic, and they blow out the Nuggets when they need to the most. This team's a contender.
He's got an edge to him. I like it. He's kind of going to bat for his team. I like it, and he holds them accountable. I've seen clips of him. Cussing guys out on the sideline because they didn't know the play.
Right.
So I think he's just it's finally clicking, and hopefully the Lakers can just be a contender in the playoffs because it's always more fun in the NBA when the Lakers are good.
Exactly, and
that thing moving on us.
Yeah. Just give it 1 second.
Yeah, you're good.
Hopefully it sticks.
Why does it move? Because I moved my hand?
No, I don't know if it's because I moved in like this. I was going to move the mic I just want to make sure it's hitting you.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I don't know why. I really don't understand. I don't think it's because of your hand. I think it's when I moved in. But should be good for now. But yeah, the NBA is better when the Lakers are better. Imagine we got a Lakers-Celtics finals.
The script, man.
Right?
That would be the perfect script.
That'd be incredible. And this Lakers team is legit, like we're saying.
And for the NBA, for as much negative discourse there's been around in the media, I think Celtics-Lakers finals would be
it boosts the ratings.
Who's not tuning into that?
Right?
At least for a few games.
Exactly.
LeBron on the Lakers versus Celtics.
With Luka. And how many championships do the Lakers have? Is it 17?
17. Celtics got 18. So
okay.
That would be to tie or potentially take a 2-title lead.
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
I think this is really, really possible. I think you look at the landscape of the NBA, and there's 6 teams who are all top 6 in net rating, offensive rating, and wins and win percentage. It's the Celtics, the Thunder, the Cavs, the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, and the Knicks. And now you add the Lakers into that mix. And then you also have the Warriors and the Timberwolves that you could add into that mix. Yeah. That's 9 teams.
Timberwolves playing some better balls of late, too.
They beat OKC recently. Last night, they were down 20. They brought it all the way back. Fell just short, but, I mean,
Here,
it's a testament.
Do you want to go team by team in the West?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to start with?
We already did the Lakers, so we can skip them whenever we get to them.
We can talk about the Thunder.
Yeah, of course. Thunder looking good.
They lead the league in net rating. They lead the league in wins.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so they played Timberwolves right before the All-Star break, I want to say. Just double checking.
They did, and they beat them. They beat them pretty good. You didn't get the best Shea game.
Yeah. The Timberwolves beat them. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't get the best Shea game, but, I mean, that's testament to their defense. What were they known for last year? Their defense.
Yeah, so, and it's not often you're getting a game like that from Shea, and you saw the rematch again in Minnesota, same place, and Shea went in there and dropped 37. So, I think that would be one of the best playoff series if we got a Thunder Timberwolves series. I really do think. Like, Ant versus Shea, like, Ant would be, like, he would be like, no, I'm the man.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is my conference. This is
my league.
Team. Yeah, like yeah. Shea, you've had the regular season. I dominated last playoffs. Gonna do it again.
And these are like the two young, flashy guys who score a lot of points, draw in a lot of attention. And I mean, it's a battle. Does Ant want it? I think Shea wants it. Does Ant want it? Is Ant about it? We'll find out. They play again tomorrow.
Yeah, Gobert and Chet, that could be a chess match. Gobert, really bad matchup in size for Chet, but Chet could, pull him out of the paint. So I think it could be a really fun series.
That would be an amazing series. One thing I feel very strongly about Minnesota is that they need to start Naz Reid. They play better when Randall isn't playing. Isn't that, doesn't that really say something?
Yeah, it can. Randall just needs the ball in his hands a lot, I feel like.
And Reed's a better shooter. He's a better defender. What's Randall's ideal spot in the league? His ideal role in the league is a bench plug who brings scoring off the bench with the ball in his hands and brings size off the bench. Like, he does both of those things. He's not the greatest three-point shooter. He needs the ball in his hands. It messes up the chemistry of that starting five, but we saw Naz Reid in there. He knocks down threes. He's like Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's fourth favorite for Sixth Man of the Year. Nas, I mean, he's a meme. You gotta love Nas. So I just saw something. He's gonna become a free agent over the summer. So he's. If I'm Minnesota, you gotta pay him.
Absolutely.
Like you're paying some of these you're paying Mike Conley a decent contract.
Pay Naz
Reid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I really feel strongly about the fact that he needs to be in that starting lineup. Randall started 48 games. Reid has only started 9. So it's definitely going to be a switch. I think Randall has started the most games out of all Timberwolves. But he doesn't belong in that lineup. Yeah. Fit-wise, anything. He's a pure scorer who needs the ball in his hands. He can't space the floor.
I'm going to push back a little bit because I like when they do Naz Reid and Randall on the front court because they can both shoot threes, so they do stretch the floor. So, I do like when it's just Gobert and Randall, I feel like Gobert clogs up the paint for Randall.
He does.
And he can't really get to his spots where he's kind of like a mid-range post, back you down a little bit kind of guy. So I think they're a little bit redundant to each other when I like Nas and Randall on the floor together.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I like Nas with either of them. But yeah, I don't like Randall and Gobert together. So I'm like, bring Randall off the bench. But Nas in the starting lineup, you have a great starting lineup.
I mean, Team France did it to him this summer. Yeah, with Wemby, and they barely even played Gobert. So it's matchup dependent,
right? I mean, obviously Gobert brings a tremendous value. He's tremendous at
rebounding, defending.
Yeah, like he belongs there. But there are times where he doesn't belong on the court.
Yeah, he looks a little lost offensively, and for someone you're paying that amount of money for.
Exactly. But overall, I think if the coaching can get it right, this is an amazing 9-man rotation. Conley, Ant Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Gobert, Alexander Walker, DiVincenzo, Randall, Jalen Clark. That's 9.
I mean, I like it because, guys, if someone gets injured, they got someone to step up, whether it's Mike Conley goes down or Dillingham, they have one or the other.
Exactly.
They got DiVincenzo.
I like Dillingham.
They got Alexander Walker and Jaden McDaniel on the wing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Terrence Shannon has been playing a lot of minutes this year.
Yeah.
That's a guy.
And someone else, too. What's his name? I got to find
It's not Clark. not Alexander Walker. He plays.
Josh Minot, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I
Hmm.
didn't realize Tristan Newton was on the Timberwolves
He
too.
is. I know. They have
Wow.
like Shannon, Newton, Dillingham, all these guards from college
So-
basketball last season. Joe Ingles is even a guy they have on the roster. Luka Garza. I mean, like, they have, not that these guys are going to play. They just have a lot of notable names on
Iowa
this
legend.
roster.
Iowa legend Luka Garza.
Yup.
They said he'd never be in the league.
Look at
And
him.
he's back and forth between the G League, but you gotta give him credit.
I think he's added a 3-ball. Something to throw out there.
I don't know. Here, let's keep going with another team here. Let's go Grizz.
Yeah, let me ask you about the Grizzlies real quick. Are they true finals contenders? And is Ja the same? And how do those two aspects tie into each other? Because I think if Ja's the same, and if they get adequate secondary scoring from guys like Bane, JJJ, some good shooting from Kennard, they're legit finals contenders. They're a top 10 defense. They're sixth in a top 6 offense, 4th in net rating, and they're one of those 6 elite statistical teams that I talked about, who are
Yeah.
top 6 in like everything.
And they got one of the best coaches in the league, Taylor Jenkins.
Exactly.
So he, and I feel like, we forgot in past seasons, with John Morant not be playing and being injured and then his string of issues, like, we forgot how good he really was and that, like, this guy is a top 5 point guard in the league when he is healthy.
I'm totally with you. I think he's like, not Shea level, but Ant level.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who, if you put the right team around him, can lead you to the finals in the right conference.
Yeah.
I still think that. But is he the same? Because, like, his stats aren't the same. He's been in and out of the lineup. Is he the same guy that he was in, say, 2022? Or even better, like he should be?
I think he's holding a little back. I think right now they're so close to the playoffs, and I don't know off the top of my head recently how they've done in the playoffs, but I feel like they're kind of waiting now. Like, they're waiting to get in the playoffs and just keep Ja healthy, and then they're gonna unleash him. Let him fly the rack, dunk anytime he wants. You know what I mean? Where, like, now they're kind of just like, we want you to make it. We want you to make it.
Right.
So,
Literally.
but I don't know, like Jaren Jackson, he's going to be a free agent, and I think you got to max him. Like,
You do. I mean, defensively, what he brings is amazing. Defensive player of the year level.
reliable. He's played almost every game this season.
But let me ask you this question. If Ja is the same, is JJJ a good enough second option? Or is Bane a good enough second option? Like, are these two good enough secondary scores
I think
to
Jaren
bring him to
Jackson
the finals?
I don't know if Bane is
Okay.
100% because, like, Bane's, the knock on him when he was drafted was he could shoot the lights out. Just his wingspan is really short, and he kind of lacks defensively. So that's kind of like my worry with Bane, in that they just maybe need that third. Like, I mean, Jimmy Butler would have been awesome for these guys. I don't know why he didn't want to go here.
Right? Like,
So, like, I mean, they're kind of, and their bench is a lot of, they aren't very deep. Like, I feel like, they're playing Scottie Pippen every game. They got Brandon Clark, he's nice, but, like, they're playing guys like Santi Aldama, Luke Kennard every night, who I don't know if they should be playing on deep playoff teams. So,
I mean, he adds some shooting. He definitely adds shooting. But is the defense good enough? They also have Jalen Wells. That's a guy to throw out there. Zach Edey.
yeah. And so Zach Edey's been awesome. I mean, for rookie center, he's averaging 9 and 7. Like, his game is translated, and I'm surprised. Like, any other year, if you go before the year 2005, any other player puts up that sort of resume in college, two-time number 1 seed, went to the national championship, was averaging like 25 and like something. Like, any guy like that, like a Hakeem Olajuwon, he would have been a Hakeem Olajuwon first pick in the draft. But just because this era of basketball is different, it's like
Weird play style.
for Zach. Yeah, but I'm just surprised he's honestly been able to contribute this much.
Absolutely. I mean, he's averaging 9 points, 8 rebounds. That's all they really need him to do. A little bit of scoring, a little bit of rebounding. Play
Give
adequate
Jaren
defense.
Jackson a rest.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I like this team. I like them. I think they could get to the finals.
And they played that Cavs team very close the other night.
They did.
They were trailing throughout most of the fourth quarter, but they were trailing by single digits, and they were able to keep it close. And I just, like, that team's always in a dogfight, and then I feel like they're not gonna blow a ton of teams out, but they aren't gonna get blown out.
I agree. And you brought up Jimmy Butler. I think he would have been a great fit on Memphis. I think he would have put them over the edge. But he went to the Warriors. And I think that's another team he puts over the edge because the issue with this Warriors team before Jimmy Butler was that Steph's facing too many bodies. There's too much pressure on him to score. Now you have Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And this is a team I'm not willing to disregard as a contender. Like Curry and Butler, 2 years ago, were borderline top 5 players in the league. Sure, are they older? Yes, but when Curry's not seeing 3 bodies per possession, I think Butler is a really good guy to have.
Yeah.
He's not the greatest shooter, but I mean, you look at that 2022 Golden State team that won the championship. What were they? They were a deep team. They were a team that played very good defense. This was already a top 10 defense, and they just added Jimmy Butler. I think it's a top 5 defense now.
Yeah.
With Steph on offense, with Jimmy also on offense, and you got help from guys like Kuminga and Podge to kind of be that Wiggins and that pool. You
hope he'll pray
you have
he'll
Buddy
knock
Hield.
down some shots.
You have Buddy Hield to shoot. Like
I mean,
that's
that guy
insane.
can win you a game if he gets hot on his own.
Exactly.
You know?
You have Draymond Green. You have Kevon Looney still.
Jackson Davis.
Gary Payton's still there. Quentin Post is another big man they have. If they can get him in the lineup shooting some threes, that's another facet to this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here gonna say like they're contenders, but I think best case scenario they can get to the second round.
I'm here to say they're contenders.
Really?
I think best case scenario they go to the finals. The only thing that scares me off.
I mean, Steph. It's as far as Steph takes.
That's what I'm saying, and Jimmy. I think a lot of people are counting them out because of their age. But Curry dropped 30 last night, and they killed the Mavericks by 20. Curry
5-1 since trading for Butler.
Right, Curry and Butler. I mean, we're talking about like 2 of the best playoff rising, most cold-blooded dogs in the NBA. I mean, Butler took a team to the finals in 2020, in 2023, teams that did not belong there.
Yeah.
This dude is a dog. This dude brings a whole nother level of mentality to this team that I think only Steph and Draymond, I think this is exactly what they needed. The only thing that can hold this team back for me is age and injuries. Curry and Butler are like north of 35.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure, that is a legit worry, but if that doesn't hold them back too much, I think this is a legit championship contender.
Yeah. No.
So, Curry, Butler, shooting, and a top 5 defense.
And it looks like Butler has some
rejuvenation.
He's got some life again.
He has a reason to play.
Like in Miami, he's averaging 3 more points than he did in Miami. He's going to the free throw line way more, like 3 more free throws a game. I mean, it's only 5 games right now. It's not a big sample size, but like he's getting to the line more, so he's inserting himself more, and it looks like he's engaged. And
yeah, he's only averaging 20 points as a Warrior, 17 points through that 25 games with the Heat. But even in 2023, he only averaged 23. 2022, he only averaged 21. 2020, when he went to the finals, he only averaged 19 points per game.
yeah,
This is a guy I'm not giving up on. He is 35 years old. I don't think that's past like his prime. I think he's still here.
He's got 1 or 2 years left, I think. So
Yeah, like this dude
like
literally.
good years.
Yeah, this dude did not care. This dude did not care about the Heat, and he's like that, which is a blessing and a curse. He can ruin teams, and he can take teams to the finals. I think he's going to take this team. Not necessarily going to take this team to the finals, but I think if he can shoot the 3 ball well enough, respectably enough, this team is a legit finals contender. So I look at the West, and I'm like, all right, OKC, yes. Denver, yes. Memphis, Golden State, Lakers, Timberwolves, yes.
Yeah.
And who did I forget? I think I forgot.
And if you look right now, the play-in for the West is Timberwolves 7, Mavericks 8, Warriors 9, Kings 10. The Warriors, Mavericks, and Timberwolves are all separated by half a game. So, I mean, unless one of those teams is able to work their way into the Clippers play-in spot, like, if I'm Memphis or OKC, like, I don't want to face any of these teams that are in the play-in. Like, Minnesota, Dallas, Golden State. I don't want to touch them. Like,
Dallas.
I would rather draw LA, Houston. Like, would you rather have, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The Clippers and the Rockets are 2 teams that are ahead of the Wolves, Mavs, and Warriors record-wise. But I mean, if I had to put my money on one of these teams making the finals, the Rockets and Clippers are not going. The Rockets and Clippers have a ceiling. The Wolves, the Mavs, and Warriors don't. Because if the Mavs get their bigs back, I mean, oh my gosh, the length and the defensive, impact of Washington, Davis, Gafford, and Lively, those four's length and defense is ridiculous. And then you have Kyrie, AD, some lob threats on offense, some shooters.
Kyrie's been cooking since Luka's left.
Yeah, this is a team where I'm not, I say the Thunder, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Lakers, the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, and the Warriors. That's not including, the Mavericks are the odd team out there. I'd take the Timberwolves and the Warriors there because I don't trust their health. I don't trust Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
If he's on the court, sure. But he's not going to be on the court.
Yeah, and I feel bad because he has been pretty healthy, and then, of course, he gets to Dallas.
But then,
goes down.
Exactly. But then, even if he is healthy, you trust Gafford and Lively to be healthy? I don't.
Yeah, Lively's always banged up.
Yeah, But if they could stay healthy, this is a team that could legit make the finals. But they're not going to stay healthy. They're not going to stay healthy, so I'm taking the Wolves, I'm taking the Warriors over them, because if the Wolves get the coaching right, this is a team that could go to the finals. The Warriors, the way I look at them, Butler and Curry, that's a finals team.
Yeah.
I think so. I can't count them all.
No, Steve Kerr, as much as people dislike him, you gotta respect him. He's Hall of Fame coach.
Exactly.
So I think he's gonna put up a fight. So that I feel bad for whoever's gonna draw that second seed if it ends up being the Grizzlies. If you end up drawing the Mavericks or the Warriors,
that's really tough.
Really tough.
If they're healthy, that is a really tough matchup. If you're Memphis, if you're OKC,
I'm going if it's a Memphis Warriors series, I gotta go with the Warriors because I'm betting on Curry and Butler over Ja and Desmond Bane.
That's what I'm saying, and I love Ja. But I haven't seen it this season. So how am I going to go betting on it?
Yeah, I just want the experience and So
right. What's another team? So I think the Rockets and the Clippers. I'm not betting on them, and then the Kings and the Suns and the Spurs are out of it. I think.
Yeah, the Rockets. Give them a year or two.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll be.
They're still young.
So young.
They're so young. They probably have another move to make. I don't know if Jalen Green's part of the long-term plan. Maybe
I think he is.
You think?
Yeah, I think
Reed Shepard is?
That's too early to tell. Yeah, we got to give him a little more time. I hate when we move on from guys who are rookies that are just
Yeah, no, the thing is I love Reed Shepard.
Yeah, and he showed us so much in college. He played great in the Summer League preseason.
Stellar. So, Jalen Green's a guy, though, I don't know. Can he ever be a Devin Booker level player? I don't know.
I think he can. He is still so young.
He is.
He's still 23 years old, so you got to keep in mind and he's averaging 22 points a game, which I'm gonna look over his career. I just want to see. Yeah, if you look at the numbers, actually, his shooting efficiency and his numbers really haven't gone up a whole ton. From assists to points, but I feel he's playing better all around basketball.
Definitely.
I love Şengün. How can't you? He's like a mini Jokic, Sabonis hybrid,
And another thing about Jalen Green, they're playing winning basketball now, and he's putting up these numbers. These numbers on a winning basketball team are far better than these numbers on a losing basketball team.
100%.
So even if the numbers haven't gone up, the quality of those numbers,
100%. And
through the roof.
Amin Thompson, he's awesome too. He's
awesome.
Giving him 14 points, 8 rebounds for a forward. He can do. That guy, if he gets a jump shot, he's
one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah,
automatically.
Easily. Jabari Smith. That guy. Give him a little bit more time. He's been injured.
If he can just be a better Keegan Murray or just Keegan Murray.
Yeah, they don't need him to shoot as much as Keegan Murray either. They just need somebody to go grab some rebounds and
play some defense.
Yeah, help Şengün out down low.
And then he's supposed to be a 3-point shooter, so he adds that 3-point shooting ability. And then if he can start to create his own shot, we're talking about an all-star.
Yeah, these guys have so many pieces to go make a trade or something this summer. Where I feel it's a year too early. Where next year maybe they make a move for someone over the summer and then. They can actually be all right, we're making a run now. Like
Okay.
where this is like, all right, let's see what we can do here. If we win a playoff series, we win a playoff.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That's even more experience and more to build off of.
Yeah, and one more thing. What was I gonna say? Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks.
I mean, how can you not love him?
That's a winning basketball player.
I mean, I feel bad for him in general because Grizzlies moved on from him
For whatever
for
reason.
Marcus Smart. They wanted a better version of Dylan Brooks, and Dylan Brooks was the Dylan Brooks they needed.
Right?
You know?
I never liked moving on from him.
Yeah,
I never liked it.
this guy, I mean, his stats and efficiency might not jump off the page, but he's everywhere in the game. He's always on the floor, diving at balls, getting in guys' heads defensively. Seems to always hit clutch shots. I don't know what it is with Dylan Brooks. Like, he always hits these threes and he's skipping around. You
Right.
know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
dude.
Yeah.
He's a glorified 3-and-D because not only is he a 3-and-D, but he's a great leader. He's a winning basketball player. He makes those diving on the floor, winning basketball plays. Marcus Smart did all that, but I think Brooks is a better shooter.
I agree with you.
I'd rather have Brooks. I mean, he's younger too.
He's bigger body, he's a better version of Marcus Smart.
Dude, winning basketball player.
Yeah.
So,
I feel bad that Memphis, they kind of hung him out to dry and said he was the reason that for a lot of their problems.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I hated it from the get-go. That's ridiculous.
So
You just weren't there yet.
yeah,
You just weren't there yet. You had the perfect... Oh, my gosh. Don't even get me started. But here, rank the West before we talk about the East a little bit.
yeah. Let's
Who's your one?
you got to give it to OKC.
The
Just
Thunder
for
are
what
my
they've
one.
done this year. I mean, that doesn't mean they're the 100% runaway favorites. I just think for what they've done, you can't dismiss that.
No, absolutely. The Thunder are my one for what they've done.
I mean, they're 10 games ahead of everybody else.
They are. And overall throughout the season, they're number one net rating by a sizable margin. They're a top 5 offense and the number 1 defense.
Without
by
their starting center.
Dude.
Yeah,
And
so he's finally coming back, playing full minutes.
they're sizably ahead of Orlando for the number 1 defensive rating in the league. They're sizably ahead of Cleveland for the number 1 net rating in the league. They're a top 5 offense without their starting center.
Yeah.
What? That's incredible. And I mean, I kind of discount them a little bit because I'm like, all right, I don't know if Chet and J-Dub are really there as those secondary scorers next to Shea. When you need a second guy to score late in a playoff game.
I'd say J-Dub's definitely more reliable.
Yeah, but I mean...
But still, he's young. He can have nights where he absolutely gives you nothing.
That's what I'm saying. But they haven't had Chet, and they post these numbers. It's ridiculous. It's incredible.
So I think you got to go OKC, then I would say the Lakers.
You'd say the Lakers ahead of Denver.
Yeah.
Already, okay.
I'd say Lakers.
And then the Nuggets would have to be 3.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
Memphis.
Then Memphis at 4. And then you have to start to look at...
Then I'm going to go with Minnesota just because health. I think
Okay.
they can stay healthy compared to the Warriors and Mavericks.
I'm going to go with the Warriors. I think the Warriors have a better chance of figuring it out than the Timberwolves. And I'm not an NBA head coach, but just my vision of it, I think if I coached the Timberwolves, I could make better rotation pieces. I just don't like what they're doing. I think the Warriors have a better chance of figuring it out.
Okay.
But then
You trust Steve Kerr more than Chris Finch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'd put the Timberwolves right behind the Warriors at 6.
Okay. I would.
Would you have the Warriors at 6 or would you have the Mavs at 6?
I would put the Warriors at 6 just
Okay.
because you can't. Yeah. We flip flop those. So I can't put Klay Thompson and Kyrie Irving over Curry. I don't know.
Dude, I'm not. I'm putting the Mavericks at 7 too. But my thing with the Mavericks is I think they could even be ahead of Minnesota if they could stay healthy. But there's no chance they stay healthy.
Okay.
There's no chance that AD, Lively, and Gafford all stay healthy. But I mean, you have those 3, PJ Washington on the wing, Klay Thompson and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no limit to this team. This team's amazing if they could stay healthy, but they're not going to stay healthy.
So that's why we watch.
Yeah. So that's the 7, and then
the 8.
The
You gotta give it
Rockets.
to the Rockets. I'm not putting the Suns over them. I'm not.
No.
No, we gotta respect
The
what
Rockets at
have
8.
done.
The Clippers at 9.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Kawhi could stay healthy, we could start to have a conversation. But I'm not even going to get into that conversation. It's not happening.
Would you rather have? Do you think the Sacramento Bulls will finish better than the Phoenix Suns?
The Kings?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't even care. These teams are like the ceiling is. There's a crazy ceiling offensively, but defensively, I'm not even gonna give in to either of them. And then the Suns. I mean, yeah, I'd put the Kings ahead of them.
Okay.
Because
I was just curious.
Yeah, I'd put the Kings ahead of them because the Suns are just so dysfunctional.
That is funny.
So dysfunctional. What do you think?
I agree with you.
Yeah, the Kings. I mean, they can play some offense.
Yeah. So I wanted to touch on too. It's been a bad week for the New York Knicks.
Oh yeah.
We had a video that we posted last time they played the Celtics, and they were telling us we can't judge the Knicks off that. And the Knicks are 0-3 versus the Celtics this year so far.
They are 0-7 against OKC, Boston, and Cleveland, and they lose by an average of 20 points.
And they've gone down. I saw every time they played Boston, they've gone down 20 points in the game.
Like, come on.
These guys are not contenders.
They're the 20th ranked defensive team.
Yeah.
And then on offense, which they're supposed to be an offensive superpower, you're relying on 6'1" Jalen Brunson and get this, Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Like, come on. No. Get out of here.
I was at that game yesterday. Like, OG Anunoby, Miles, Mikal Bridges, they I don't know what their stat lines were. They looked better than they were, though, because they racked it up all in garbage time. And, it came to a 5-point game at one point, but then all of a sudden the Celtics put their foot in the gas and back to 15.
And the reason they were able to get even back to that point, bring the game, did they ever tie it? No. All right, so the reason they were able to even bring it back to 5 points was because Karl Anthony Towns played 33 out of 36 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the story with
started
Tibbs.
hitting some shots in the second half there. So
we know the story with Tibbs. I mean, you leave your starters in there, they can go on some runs, but I mean, you're playing them 40 minutes a night in the regular season. This thing's not going to work.
Yeah, and outside of Brunson and Towns, offensively, I feel like you got nothing. I
mean, Anunoby and Bridges and Hart are supposed to be your White, Holiday, and Porzingis. Get out of here. I love Josh Hart, but those other two, I mean, they're supposed to be the more talented ones than Josh Hart. These two are not it. No. They're not White and Holiday and Porzingis. No.
You got Miles McBride off the bench. He's good. But
yeah, he's
other Campaign, Achua,
Tyler
Landry
Kolek.
Shamet. Yeah. Hey,
shout out to Tyler Kolek, but he's a second-round rookie, right?
Yeah. Hey, Tyler Kolek.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
Don't talk about my boy. But no, I'm joking. Next though, I just who are they drawing right now in round one? If today.
They could potentially, if they draw Detroit, which that's who they draw today, they could fall to Detroit.
I could see that happening with Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duran, giving these guys the work down low, going at a cat.
And then you have Cade. Who would you rather have the ball in his hands, Cade or Jalen Brunson? Probably Brunson, but I mean, you have that conversation.
Yeah, I'd say in a year or two you can have that conversation.
I mean, I think we can have that conversation now. In a year or two, the answer's Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And I mean, obviously, you don't have what you want Asar Thompson to be right now. You don't have what you want Jaden Ivey to be right now, if you even have Jaden Ivey.
I also don't know how long Brunson is going to be able to keep this up. Right? Because the way he plays is so physical and demanding, and the amount of minutes he plays.
He has mastered the art of flopping, but I mean,
he takes I was just shocked. In person, he took an absolute beating that game, and I just if this guy's doing this 60 games a year at that size guard, he's not going to last till he's he's 32, 33, and then I could see him being a Kemba Walker.
Look what happened to Kemba.
And his knees just going.
Look what happened to Kemba. All of a sudden.
These guys fall off so quickly, these guards.
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
He's one of them.
And he relies on his explosiveness and stuff, and it's good now, but I just,
not for long.
Yeah. That's my concern with Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. And if you brought in a real, 1B, maybe this team wins the conference. Maybe, if they get injury luck and all that. No, you brought in Karl Anthony Towns. Come on. He's a great player. But come on.
Yeah,
There's a ceiling to that.
all
He's going
NBA.
to fall out when it matters.
I mean, when you make that trade, though, you got to make that trade. Like,
You think? I mean, I thought
Randall
so.
for Cat.
I thought so. But, like, come on. I mean, what's...
Yeah.
They gave up DiVincenzo, too, who was so crucial to that squad last year.
Yeah, their depth and defense is just not.
That's what
they had that intensity where they were going after offensive rebounds last year. Where I just feel like there's not.
They had that dog in them.
Yeah.
That's what they prided them. That's what they,
Like
That's what
Mikal
they were.
Bridges, he doesn't have that dog in him. I'm
No.
sorry, man.
And OG Anunoby even less.
Yeah, he's an NBA champion, I know, but he's not an offensive guy,
No.
and they want him to be.
No.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So I just
He
because
wasn't asked to play that role
because
in Toronto. That was Siakam and Lowry.
like
Now he's supposed to be playing that role, and he can't.
what's concerning is like New York comes out of the All-Star break knowing that like, hey, we didn't finish great going into the break. We got whooped by the Celtics, whooped by the Lakers. We need to show up and start like giving ourselves some confidence. And they show up Friday night after the All-Star break, go to Cleveland, they get smoked by 30. And then they go up to Boston, they get smoked. Like these games aren't close. Like Stephen A said it on TV. They're not contenders.
They're not contenders.
No.
Cleveland and Boston are the contenders in the East. I think Cleveland is a legit contender because Boston, I mean, you need to repeat, and they're not shooting the same as they were last year. We all know how hard it is to repeat and shoot how they did last year. So that leaves it open for Cleveland. But New York, I'm not buying it.
Can we touch on one more thing before we get out of here?
Yeah, let's talk about the rest of the East.
I wanted to mention Embiid. With the Sixers, man, like this. We were talking last week, maybe they put it together, they can get to the 9 seed in the play-in. It looks like it's over.
Because Paul George isn't the guy they paid.
No.
If he was, I mean, this team wouldn't be 20-36. They'd be at least 26-31 where the Hawks are at the 9 seed.
They've lost 7 straight.
When they 1-9 their last 10 when they need it the most.
Yeah.
This team sucks.
Yeah, this team, I really feel bad. I saw something online. Philadelphia traded their basketball team for a Super Bowl.
They did. I mean,
even though there's nothing to do with this, I thought it was pretty funny. But
the one thing that you do still have is you do have Embiid. Regardless, you can rest him. I don't know. You do have Embiid. You have the trade value. Because I would say, you can shut him down for a year and then bring him back. You have Embiid. No, I'm good. You have the trade value. You have him and you have Maxey.
He's still an MVP kind of guy.
Exactly.
At least for a year or two more.
I think even more. I mean, if he's on the floor. But that's the thing is like, all right, what are you going to get from Embiid? I think you can bring in a few first-round picks.
Like, if you're the Lakers before the Luka trade, would you have done an AD for Embiid sort of swap?
I don't see why not. Like,
I could see LA being like, we want an MVP guy. We don't care if he's really injured. And then I could see Philly being like AD, we want someone who's healthy. So, I don't know.
I don't know. I thought Embiid was a little bit younger. Embiid is exactly 1 year less than AD.
He's got 1 or 2 years left before he starts.
That's insane. What a waste of a career, man. This dude's one of the most talented players we've ever seen.
I know. And
it sucks. It really sucks.
Flopping everywhere and always out. It's so
he just
sad.
can't stay on the floor. And hey, this is part of the reason. I mean, I really think there needs to be 50 to 65 games in an NBA regular season because as we see, and sure, is it Embiid's fault? Is he an outlier? Yeah, kind of. But I don't know. I mean, players can't play 82 games. Basketball is a very physically demanding sport. It doesn't have the same culture as hockey where you play hurt.
And it's a weird thing where there's weird injuries. All it takes is you to jump up for a rebound, you land on someone's foot weird, boom, your ankle's done.
Exactly.
Like Tatum did. Game 7 versus the Heat.
And you can't blame them. It's a big investment to even play.
Yeah. So...
And it sounds crazy to say, they're getting paid all this money, but, I mean, come on. You have that contract. Are you really about to suit up for a game that you're throwing all this money in line? No. I think there needs to be 50 to 65 games. You can't expect the players to really care, and you can't expect the fans to care about a product when the players don't care about it. I really feel strongly about that. I think, obviously there's a lot of things that get in the way of it. Money, accolades, records, all of this. I don't care. I think there needs to be 50 to 65 games like the NFL and how successful they've been when they change all this stuff. They make drastic rule changes, and it's fine. It's fine.
NFL season's getting longer.
Right?
So, I don't know.
Right? The NBA needs to do something. And I watch NBA. I don't care. I love the product. I watch it when, February comes around, March comes around. It's NBA time.
Yeah.
But I see the issue. I definitely think there needs to be less games in the regular season. I think that's the main fix.
Okay.
I've thought about, either extending the 3-point line or, ending it right in the corner, if you know what I mean. I don't think you even need to do that. I think there needs to be less games. I think that's the fix.
Yeah, and I think you get more effort defensively from people.
Exactly, a better product.
Yeah.
That players care about. In return, the fans care more.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, one question we were talking about before we were hopping on was if we gotta talk about the top players coming off the bench for the league this year. Who's your top 5 guys?
So I'd say DeAndre Hunter and Naz Reid, but I really want them starting. I really think they belong in their 2 respective starting lineups. Malik Beasley, he's been amazing. He's been amazing as a shooter, just as a 3-and-D guy, next to Cade Cunningham, helping the development of this Pistons team overall.
Okay.
I think it's those 3, and then Pritchard. Pritchard's the number 1. Look what he does as a scorer, as a pesky defender, as a playmaker, as a rebounder. He does all the right things. And he's going to get a bag for it. He's going to get a Bruce Brown type bag.
Okay.
So good for him. Ty Jerome, he's been a sleeper off the bench for Cleveland.
Another one.
And I think he can play that role, whereas Hunter starts. So
I saw what's it called too. He's been injured a little bit, but Alex Caruso for the Thunder and even Hartenstein coming off the bench.
Oh, Hartenstein, man.
Both of those guys have been awesome.
That dude's incredible. Keon Ellis.
Yeah.
I love that dude.
On
He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. He's like a 40% career 3-point shooter, 43 or 44%. And it's the same this year. He's lights out. He's a great defender. He does all the little things. I think he's amazing. Anybody else?
Not off the top of my head.
For the Warriors, they have guys like Pachevsky or Kuminga or
I kind of thought DiVincenzo could make a run, but he's been disappointing this year a little bit.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker's great off the bench.
Yeah, but not 6.
No,
man.
Absolutely not.
So,
I see Naz Reid, DeAndre Hunter, outside of Pritchard, but I want those guys started. I feel very strongly about that. I feel like they belong in their starting lineups.
Yeah.
As,
guys, Ty Jerome could definitely start for a younger, not so great team.
100%. Kind of like Pritchard. If he's good at Virginia, if he can, do all the little things, knock down the 3 like Pritchard does, he's gonna work himself into that role.
I like it. And even Pritchard too, he's awesome because even if it's great, he hits these 3-pointers, but even if he's not hitting the 3-pointers, his defensive intensity is great.
Just the intensity, the little things he does.
Yeah.
Winning basketball player.
So
before we get out of here, I want to ask you, what can the rest of the East do? We've talked about the Cavs and the Celtics are the 2 contenders. The Knicks are right a little bit outside of that. And then you have the Pacers, the Bucks, the Pistons, and the Magic. And I'm not going to throw the Sixers in there because they're done. But the Pacers, the Bucks, the Pistons, the Magic. What is the ceiling for those 4 teams? Could Damian Giannis bring the Bucks to an Eastern Conference Finals? Could the Pacers go back to an ECF? Could the Pistons and Magic get there?
So I don't think the Pacers can get back. Just don't think they've been playing as good as last season unless Halliburton has this late resurgence. I think Milwaukee can get to the East Conference Finals, definitely. It just depends on the matchup, and then also Giannis and Dame's got to be there. I think they can get to the East Finals, and if anybody falters between the Celtics and Cavs, I think they will be there.
All it takes is one injury, and then these 4 teams could beat the Knicks.
And then I would say dark horse, Pistons and Magic. I am very bold on the Pistons. Matchup-wise, very physical team. They shoot the 3-ball well between Malik Beasley, Tobias. I like the Pistons.
And Cade has the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and the Magic, too. I was really liking them early in the year. They had some injury problems, but the Magic, I think, they defend home court one of the best home court teams in the league. So I think just playing them in a 7-game series will be tough.
Second best defense in the league, despite injuries.
Yeah, this is their second year going to the playoffs. Last year was kind of their coming out party. So I think, they're going to be like, hey, let's make some noise this year. And I wouldn't be surprised, they
lack offense outside of Paolo and Franz, but Anthony Black had 23 points last night.
Yeah.
That jumped out at me.
Like, they draw the Celtics around right now, which is a really tough matchup. They did give the Celtics some trouble in the regular season a few years ago, but I just, if they can get anyone but the Celtics, I would be very...
Right.
Didn't they take to the Cavs to, 7 games? Yeah, last season. So...
I think it was 7, not 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that about does it. Anything else we can throw in there? Shout out to Merrimack basketball. We've got 3 games left. Rider Friday night, and then, those 2 other front runners next to Merrimack in the MAC. Quinnipiac, Marist. Those are 2 games to close out the Merrimack season. Those are 2 very big prove-it games. If we can win those 2, and then, it's the winner of the tournament that makes March Madness.
Heading into the conference tournament, Merrimack, they're in 3rd place, but they played these 2 teams early in the season, the other 2 best teams in the conference. They came up short, so I think, they were both on the road. So these next 2 games are going to be at home, and I think it would be a real big confidence boost if they can get that one.
Absolutely.
At least one of them.
All right. So. Well, I think that pretty much does it, unless there's anything we want to throw in. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back on Monday. So, yeah.
Peace. Have a good week. Let's go.
That was smooth.
Yeah. I was finally able